An update on the two new stimulus packages that have been introduced over the last 48 hours. I have all the details for you in this video, so let's get into it right now. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so you can join the fastest growing advocacy group and the #1 channel right here on YouTube dedicated to bringing you all the latest updates as it pertains to stimulus, the stimulus package, stimulus checks, fixed income, Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB, low income, no income, money, benefits, and so much more that we're covering right here in all these videos every single day as things are changing very, very rapidly, especially over the last 48 hours or so. So if you haven't done so, please make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so you don't miss any of these updates going forward as it's starting to get really good right now. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Let's get into this right now. And quick side note, yes, my wife Corey will be back here in just a couple minutes with the newest list of shoutouts, and those names are pulled right out of the fan club membership. So congratulations in advance, and that list will be read to you in just a few minutes here. All right, so let's get into this right now. So in my last video just a couple hours ago, I was out talking about yet again another stimulus package that is being introduced and being called on by the president. So this was actually just released earlier today, a few hours ago, just moments before that last video came up. I found this and I produced that video immediately and I put it up there for you right away. But here's what we know as of right now, and then we will talk about this package as well as the one that was introduced just a couple days ago, and we'll kind of wind all this together and figure out what does this actually mean between these two packages. So just earlier today, word came out that the administration, the president, will be calling on Congress to issue yet again another stimulus package. Now, this is what we know as of now. We don't know all the details as far as what is it going to encompass. We do know the simple framework of the bill, which is they mostly want to focus it around vaccine distribution, global vaccination, as well as therapeutics. That is the actual framework of this stimulus package. However, as I've said so many times, we can't get caught up with the initial headliners because the headliners are the headliners, right? But of course, always within these packages, there's always a lot of other things that are under the surface that we can usually take advantage of that are usually not the headliners of the actual bill. Just like the Build Back Better agenda, right? There's only like 5 different headliners in there, not even, but ultimately that package encompasses multiple different proposals and provisions. However, we're kind of waiting on the Build Back Better agenda as of right now because we're working on these other 2 packages that were just introduced and called on. Now, the president, like I said, is the one that will be calling on Congress to issue this next stimulus package. And yes, this is in addition to that other one that we just talked about 2 days ago, 48 hours ago. We were right back here talking about that other package that was being discussed and introduced by that small group of bipartisan senators. A couple Republicans, a couple Democrats coming together, recognizing, hey, we've got to do something here, and they put together that $68 billion package. Now, here's what we can anticipate. Again, both of these are still very, very new. The other one from the small group of bipartisan senators, that one was just released on Wednesday, so it's still very new. This other one that's going to be introduced by the president and called on to Congress to issue this package was just released a short time ago today. So it's still very, very new. The ink is not even wet, or it's not even dry yet, right? It's still wet right now. So that's why we don't know a lot of details about this. However, I can give you the information that I know as of now and what I've been sharing with you in the most recent videos. However, I do want to answer a couple questions that I've seen on the last couple videos here, the one from a couple days ago and the one from just a couple hours ago. And I want to lay this all out for you because there's a lot of people in this community right now, many of you right here, wondering what's going to go on with this. It's sounding a little bit encouraging. What does this mean going forward? So I also have to reiterate, again, this is still very, very new. We do not know all the details yet. It is still a developing story. So let me give you the information that we know as of now, and let me answer these questions for you. Here's what I would anticipate happening. Again, I could be completely wrong with this. I don't really know, but here's what I would anticipate. Considering we got that proposal just a couple days ago from that small group of bipartisan senators, and now this one from the president, if they're going to move forward with both of these packages, I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they actually combine them together into one big package. That could be a thing. Otherwise, they could potentially leave them as their own separate packages, because we do recognize that sometimes these bigger packages, the multi-trillion-dollar packages, sometimes do have a hard time getting through Congress. So sometimes they actually have a better time getting through Congress if they're actually split up and actually sent through as individual bills. So they could go through one at a time individually, or they could be combined together as one big package. It completely depends on the speed at which they want to get these packages through. That's number one. Number two, the focus of the package. So we might get bipartisan support for the first package, the $68 billion package that we talked about 2 days ago. That's a bipartisan bill, right? It's being introduced on a bipartisan basis. Therefore, they may want to push it through bipartisan, right? Or this next package, they might look at it and say, okay, we don't really have bipartisan support. What are our options? Maybe executive order? Okay, that could be an option. Maybe we could do this through reconciliation. Again, that's a very slow process. Maybe they would look at that one. So there's a lot of different options here. And as soon as they start combining multiple different aspects and proposals within the same package, it starts to get a little bit convoluted and a little bit confusing to figure out, okay, what's in this package? Does everybody in Congress have support on this thing? Is everybody going to back it up? Is it going to get the necessary amount of votes? That's why it's sometimes advantageous to actually pass it through as their own standalone bills. Then it's very clear cut, right? With this bill, you get blank, right? With this other bill, you get blank. So it's still very new here. It's still developing. That's why I'm saying we don't really know the parameters, but just remember they could actually package these together as one big bill and get it through, rather than actually sending it through as a couple different bills. But again, it totally depends on the amount of support that they have for this thing and what's going to be in the package. But the simple fact of the matter is, here's what matters the most. Congress is recognizing, and the president is recognizing, we need some extra stimulus right now. That is very, very important, because how many months have we been going along right now? 8, 9, 10 months now we've been going along wondering when they're going to offer additional stimulus, and it's been very confusing to many of us why they haven't actually done something. Now they're finally starting to realize that, maybe we've got to issue some stimulus. Maybe we've got some problems here. Maybe we need additional a little infusion of cash for different reasons around the country. Well, they're finally starting to realize this, and this could be a very good thing for the people. Now, again, as I mentioned in the video earlier, an administration, apparently that's hard for me to say, an administration, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, an administration spokesperson said that they're always constantly working on and focusing on what the American people need, what businesses need, and what different sectors need. Even the American people they mentioned. So that's pretty good, right? Because they're finally recognizing what we may need as well. Good stuff, right? So here's what we can anticipate going forward. These packages will continue to develop as we get more information on these things, but they're still very brand new. As a result of that, we don't know a lot of information, but as Congress continues to work their way through these, as the president comes out with his initiatives, his directives, all of these proposals, anything that they want to add into the package, we'll be getting more information on that here over the coming days. So as we get more information on that, we can get a better idea of what's going to be in these packages, the final price tags on these packages, how soon they may actually be passed, who's going to be encompassed in these packages, what is it going to entail, how quickly can the money go out, will there be additional stimulus checks in there, right? All of that is things that we don't know the answers to quite yet, but all of us still want to know the answers to all of them, because any of that is still up in the air at this time. So one of the main questions that I've received on the last video earlier today, as well as the video from a couple days ago, will there be stimulus checks in the packages? Again, I'm just being completely transparent with you as of right now. We don't know that information quite yet. It's still too new to understand this. It's still very, very new right now. I've said that many, many times in this video, but that's the thing that I want to reiterate, is because we don't know all the details yet as they continue working their way through this. The analogy that I used earlier today and a couple days ago was like building a house, right? We built the foundation and we have a small frame around the house. Now it's time to bring in all the details, the finishing work, right? The windows, the doors, the trim, the drywall, all the other stuff that goes into it. So that's what we need to figure out now, is what is all of the other detail that goes into this actual structure of a bill, right? So there's a lot more to figure out with this thing, but I think the main thing that we need to focus on here too is how quickly do they actually want to get this package done? according to what I'm seeing, it looks like they're understanding that we got to get this package done relatively quickly. I actually saw one report earlier today that said that they recognize they're going to need more money here within the next few weeks, like 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to need money. So I think they want to push this thing through relatively quickly, according to what I'm seeing. But again, maybe not. I don't know. Again, still too new to understand that. But some of the main questions that I wanted to focus on here for you right now was kind of determining the differences between these packages and letting you know that yes, they could add these together as one big, massive package, or they could leave them as their own separate packages. Number 2, what about the stimulus check? Good question. We don't know that yet. As we do get more information on this package, of course, I'll be right here to let you know, but it is kind of looking a little bit encouraging anyway, that just the simple fact that they're working on additional stimulus after so many months of nothing, right? So that's actually very encouraging as well. Now, is it going to include any provisions in there for low income, fixed income, Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB, anything like this? Again, we don't know that. Haven't seen all the details yet. So I know that I've been saying I don't know a lot on this, but my point is it's still very developing. So that is kind of the moral of the story, but I wanted to lay it all out here, give you these couple packages that we've actually seen here introduced. The really cool thing about this second one that I just talked about in the last video earlier today is this one is being requested by the president. This is like serious stuff, right? So when the president comes out calling on Congress, hey, Congress, I need some money. You want to allocate some for me? That's kind of a big call right there, right? Because usually what happens is lawmakers come together, right? The lawmakers with their fancy briefcases and, all their fancy stuff, they come together and say, well, the 6 of us have come together. We have co-sponsors, and we've come together with this bill, and we are introducing this COVID relief bill or this stimulus package or whatever they're introducing. So that's how it's usually introduced, is a group of lawmakers come together and they say, here's what we're introducing. What do you think? And they introduce it to the chamber, whether it's the Senate or the House or whatever. They introduce it and then they all say, oh yeah, I like that. Let's get behind that idea. Well, here we have the president that's coming out saying, the president hasn't called on it yet, but the anticipation is the president will be the one calling on Congress to actually be the one to request this money out of Congress. So that's actually kind of big, because as soon as the president says something, almost immediately it's got 50% of the votes on his side, right? Because the president's a Democrat and the Democratic Party will pretty much jump behind the ideas behind him. And again, I'm not taking sides with this. I'm simply telling you, this is just what happens, right? Regardless of the party, when the president in control actually comes out and says, here's what I'm calling on, please, let's do it, pretty much everybody within that party, with the exception of a few, will usually jump behind the idea and say, I back it up. I like it. Let's do it right away, right? So that's not me taking sides in any way at all. We've seen this play out so many times. Regardless of the party, that's usually what happens, right? So I try to stay as right down the middle as I can, as just nonpartisan as possible. But you also got to tell the truth here and just be honest what actually happens. And this is what happens. So I anticipate over the next couple of days here, it's probably going to be pretty busy with a lot of updates on these new proposals and packages, what they're actually anticipating with these things, and what it's going to look like as it takes shape going forward over the coming days, and hopefully not weeks, but who knows what, right? We all recognize that it could possibly take weeks for them to get anything done, just because it's a very slow process. Working through the legislative process usually takes quite a while, right? But anyway, over the coming days here, we should be getting a lot more structure, so we can build out that structure and figure out, what does this actual thing look like? What is it? Is it going to be a house? Is it going to be a big mall? Is it going to be a car? Is it going to be a stick figure? We don't know quite yet, right? So we should be getting that detail over the coming days here. So for those of you that have been leaving questions down below, asking in the previous videos here, what is the actual structure? What's included? What's in it for us? Good question. We can only cross our fingers that something really good will be coming out of this here relatively soon. And as we get those details, of course, I'll be right here for you, bringing you those updates. So I wanted to come back. I wanted to answer some questions for you. I wanted to lay it all out and let you know what we know as of right now, which is, to be honest with you, not a whole lot. but we should be getting a lot more details here very, very soon. So subscribe down below. Feel free to share this video with your friends, family, social media. And as you subscribe, make sure that you continue watching the videos, as there's going to be a lot of new updates here coming forward. And I'm right here for you as I'm doing this research all day long for you. And I distilled it all down into these short videos. And ultimately, I'm here to help you out in any way that I can. Just to make sure that it's easy to understand. It's very confusing. I totally get it. That's why I'm watching it very closely. And then I bring all those relevant updates for you in these videos. So again, check out the other videos here on the channel. There's 2,000 videos right here for you to enjoy. And with that being said, Corey is back right now with that new updated list of shoutouts for all of those members right out of the fan club. And again, it's totally optional, 100%. All of my videos here are free, always have been, always will be, but the membership club is completely optional. If you're interested in checking it out, it's down in the description. There's a link down there. Otherwise, at the top of the comment section, I will pin a comment as well. All right, Corey, take it away, and congratulations in advance.
We're happy to give a shout out to Sharon Laney, Connie Pond, William McLemore, Jean Keller, Wilfred Hawkes, Rick Hoist, Dan Bell, and Steve Hart. Thank you for being in the fan club.